Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the 7th day comic book news recap video with Adam from geekrest.com.
And Aaron from a comic show.
Mm-hmm.
And a comic shop.
In a comic shop. We're not on that side of the wall this week. We're on this side of the wall, back to comics, so you know what we're talking about.
All in all, you're just another comic on the wall.
Wow. That was tight. This is, as you know, comic book news recap video. It's recap news, all of last week's news, including big events that came out yesterday.
Yeah.
Whew.
That was huge.
DC is really, they're the movers and the shakers this week in comic book news. Even though they haven't officially announced it, Gail Simone, who is the main writer on Batgirl,
right,
and architect of Barbara Gordon for past several years, really, because Birds of Prey she wrote before the New 52.
Yes.
And she handled, Barbara Gordon when she was walking again in the New 52.
Yeah, very few creators, very few writers are so identified with the character of the New 52
right.
as she is a Batgirl. You know, there's Snyder with Swamp Thing and now Batman. And
Batman,
you know, and then there's Lemire with Animal Man. But when you really think about it, like, what creator is like the driving force identified in the same breath as that character?
Yeah.
So it's kind of a big deal, even if she wasn't a woman.
Right.
That's something we have to deal with because that's what's going all over the Twitterverse and all over, Bleeding Cool and all that.
Big news, shocking news. Well, she was asked to leave Batgirl. And one of the biggest things about the news is the way DC kind of handled it. It was Brian Cunningham, who's now the new editor on Batgirl, and apparently sent her an email saying, you're no longer going to be with Batgirl. And only these two know exactly, how it was broached, but she was asked to leave.
If she's saying it's an email, it was an email. It wasn't a phone call.
It wasn't a phone call.
A phone call would
Really?
have been a little classier,
She's legacy.
To me, when you think of like editorial problems with writers, you don't really think of Gail Simone. She's been a team player. I mean, she's before all this, she had Secret Six, which the book was fun. It had a rabid fan base. It was a mid-tier seller, but it had a rabid fan base. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of people's favorite book, and that went away with the New 52 because a lot of those characters just ceased to exist or don't exist in the same way. Then you have Birds of Prey that she was doing that was taken from her because they wanted to go a different direction with it and have a different creative force, which we'll get to Birds of Prey later. Then with Batgirl, you said, well, you've been doing Barbara this way, but now she's going to be out of the wheelchair and out as Batgirl. And she didn't, balk at it. She didn't say, no way, I'm not doing that.
Nope.
She did it, and she kicked ass with it. And then the other way you look at creators, writers dealing well with editorial is when it comes to the crossovers. And Night of the Owls, she did it awesome. She had a talent that was so strong, it contributed to the greater story, which was in the most recent Batgirl annual with Catwoman, where that talent's back, and now she's going to be on Birds of Prey. So you have this writer that, during a crossover, instead of saying, I'm going to begrudgingly be part of it, or, I don't want to be part of it, she contributed to the whole by creating a new character that's being used in another series that she's not writing. And then with the Joker stories, we have 2 issues out now. Another one coming out on this Wednesday. They were very strong.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Commercially and critically acclaimed.
I enjoyed it. So I mean, I just it boggles the mind. She had one little hint where it's like, DC's still the place for women in refrigerators, and she had some little hint where she's like, yeah, you don't even know, or there's more to the story, or what was she asked to do, maybe to maim a female character or something, who knows? But there was something. We don't know at this point, but it's very frustrating.
Very frustrating news, especially since the only other title that she's doing work for DC Comics is the upcoming Time Warp anthology from Vertigo. That's the only other thing that's solicited that she's going to be contributing to, for DC Comics.
I know behind the scenes that she has a crossover, really cool thing in the works with Van Sciver that he's been drawing off, on his off time as not his regular gig. I've seen pictures, panels, pages of that, covers of that. That
doing the Kickstarter.
Looks phenomenal. It looks phenomenal. That's for DC. I don't know what that even got scuttlebutted by the New 52 because it was. I'm sure it's out somewhat, but it was the mashup of like the composite Superman, where these composite aliens are putting together two characters, and Skyver's art looked freaking awesome, and the original character was a composite Uncle Sam Captain Nazi.
Right.
That's
okay,
phenomenal.
That's cool.
That's phenomenal. But
Where
you know,
is it?
well, the New 52 kind of, they have all new costumes, different things. Some characters don't exist anymore, blah, blah, blah. So it could come out as an Elseworlds, but again, it's like Gail Simone's just kind of getting this kind of shaft.
Yeah.
When the fans love her, and as far as I know, she works well with editorial, and it's like, if they wanted her off Batgirl, if there was some reason that we don't know why they wanted to shake up Batgirl.
I have to imagine that there is.
Why couldn't they have put her on another book and announced that book already?
Right.
So her fans and herself and everyone's like, okay, well, it sucks that she's not on Batgirl. I really liked her on Batgirl, but now I'm going to get her on Catwoman or what I said was like Hawkman, because I mean, she's good at big brutish characters. She was good at Bane. She was good at whatever. And who's going to be on Hawkman but DeFalco or something?
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of want her on that editorial team, the writer team of Jail of A, which is going to have Anna Nacinta on Katana, and it's going to have Vibe with his own book. It's going to have Jeff Lemire on Green Arrow, and then obviously Jeff Johns on Justice League of America. She would fit in well doing a solo character of that. So
they have to keep her in the fold.
Why in the world would they announce her off, or or tell her she's off before
really putting her on something else officially?
So I could see her coming up with a great creator-owned image book that we can really pimp and kick up her fan base.
Yeah.
I could see her doing some stuff for Marvel where they seem to be more championing of female writers as of late.
Seriously.
Who knows?
Put her back on The Simpsons, whatever.
Give her a Deadpool mini.
Yeah, right.
Do it.
Just
don't put Liefeld on her.
The outpouring of support was fantastic. Everyone's like rooting for something to happen. But again, DC hasn't officially announced anything, so until we hear it from them.
But we do know officially she's not on Birds of Prey, which would be the next likely book to throw her on.
And what's his face is gone. Swarzynski, Dwayne.
Yes. Jim Zub's going to be on it, and
Zub.
He sent an email out to me and probably a lot of progressive retailers that are taste testers that promote stuff. And it sounds like he has great plans for it. I'm not. It sounds like he has great plans for it. It hasn't really gained any sales for the crossovers it was involved in. Night of the Owls, it pumped up for Night of the Owls and then went right back down afterwards.
But now with Gail Simone's character on it, who knows where it can go from there.
Yeah, that's a cool character. And now it can cross over with Talon very easily, and it can... That's good. So... Not begrudging Zub. It's just that's the next most likely thing she would have been put on.
Yeah.
If not that, if Glass wants to leave Suicide Squad, she would be a great fit on that after we've been doing Secret Six.
Ooh, yeah.
She just has a great career, a great history that we want to see her land on her feet.
Unique voice.
Yes.
She has a great voice for the comics. So
and she's very sweet.
Keep it. Yeah, she's sweet.
And you see how all the other creators love her. No one's kicking someone while they're down. They're want to champion her.
Yeah. So and another little big DC Comics announcement was Karen Berger stepping down from Vertigo after almost 20 years as a huge editor, executive editor. She shepherded so many titles through Vertigo in the early days, the very beginning,
and through that shaped the industry.
Yeah, there wasn't.
We wouldn't have the image that we have now without that. We would. The image we had then was, just weirdly drawn, artist, influence, blah, blah, blah. Now you look at Image and it looks like Vertigo in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Right.
The books they're putting out have that feel.
Yep.
So
she stepped in for Len Wein on Swamp Thing. Neil Gaiman she brought in. Alan Moore, everything. Just she
even approved Preacher.
Right.
When that obviously wasn't
huge.
really in her wheelhouse of sensibilities, but she approved it, and it happened because of that. And, she was instrumental in all that. Fables big. Why Last Man, which there's some stories about Why Last Man, but still, ultimately she approved it as ongoing. Ultimately,
her taste in horror comics she brought to the table and just totally transformed the industry as far as what mature books can be, and just. That 20 years. 20 years strong. Now she's stepping down. Again, this was kind of unexpected, though, to everyone. No one really...
To me...
20 years is a good run.
A lot of restructuring of Vertigo. the restructuring of the contract a few years ago, where it wasn't entirely creator owned. There's first looks for movies and video games and all that.
Right.
And then that could cause, have probably caused some of these creators to go elsewhere, like Brian K. Vaughan's saga to Image and whatnot.
Yeah.
It seemed like there's this restructuring. I mean, obviously, Wildstorm completely restructured into the DCU.
Right.
It seems like DC wants to have one editorial control over their entire everything they print.
Right.
And though Vertigo might continue as a sub-imprint, does it really need a big executive editor?
Yeah.
I'm not saying she wasn't wonderful, and what she was doing, if she wanted to do another comic book company, it would kick some ass.
And she has all the backing to do something like that.
Right. I'm just saying the Vertigo that Warner DC seems to want to do now, it doesn't really seem like she's able to do the thing.
And like Hellblazer too, which is one of their big ones coming to a close. It seems like DC's trying to unify all their books under one voice.
Yes.
Their whole company. So it kind of makes sense that they would be just consolidating, basically, getting rid of the people that are,
But because of her and because of what she did with Vertigo, now we don't necessarily need Vertigo as fans because we can get this stuff from Image.
Yeah.
We can get this stuff from, any publisher, really, if they want to step it up. I mean, some of this stuff Top Shelf is putting out, like Top Shelf did the original, Underwater Welder Jeff Lemire. That didn't come out through Vertigo.
No.
Just saying, we're getting these books that are all her sensibilities from places other than Vertigo.
Right.
And I wouldn't mind. I would love to be able to champion her under some other imprint.
Yeah, I'll back whatever she does. She's
We don't dislike women in comics.
Hell no.
I mean,
DC does.
Nah,
I didn't say
Vertigo was my coming of age. It came about while I was in high school.
Right.
And at a point in my life where I could have gotten out of comics because they were doing a lot of weird things with all my favorite characters, Hal Jordan Insane, all that stuff. And at a point where, I wanted to be probably a little bit more popular, maybe have a girlfriend. I mean, this is back, we're talking like 92 through 95 when I was in high school. They came out with this thing and suddenly I could, loan out my comics to two girls. And I was like, hey, have you read Sandman?
Yeah. Kid Eternity pulled me into Vertigo back when I was first coming out, and their place in history is solid. But that's sad. Karen Berger, she's gone. And Gail Simone. Oh God, DC.
If DC has plans with Gail Simone for some other ongoing, they really should have front loaded that before they,
Yeah.
So
we'll see what comes out of this week with their announcements.
But even having like an artist as huge as Ethan Van Sciver that enjoys working with her, and then you're gonna have the editorial just kind of email her like you're off this thing that like you've identified with. This is part of, this like Barbara Gordon. I mean, as a writer and writing her so long, it has to hurt. Like. It's like ripping a Band-Aid off. I feel for her.
She voiced her opinion, Twitter, Tumblr. You can see how it unfolded. Not pretty, not at all.
She still was very professional about the whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can tell that it's painful.
Yeah, clearly. And then DC Comics, they slipped out some things. The Martian Manhunter backup is going to be included in Justice League of America #2.
Right.
Hasn't come out yet. Comes out this coming year. Next year, I should say. And, Justice League of America just seems to be shaping up more and more as a big platform book.
Right. And this is like Martian Manhunter's machinations. It's like his plans for of America and his plans for the other team. I would like to see Martian Manhunter actually be a character on the other team with his shapeshifting.
He needs something.
What if he is Element Girl? Like he is like shapeshifted into and he's on both teams.
True.
Like you can do a lot of stuff with him. It's just traditionally his solo books have not sold very well.
No.
So putting him as a backup in this is ingenious. And the same way as Shazam as a backup in that. And now hopefully Shazam's going to get his solo book and then maybe put Cyborg as a backup in Justice League and, really promote these characters in these backups.
They could do something big with that.
I think they're making the right choice with these backups as opposed to giving these really strong characters a ongoing and then just having it fail in the marketplace, which might happen with Vibe.
Could happen.
Arcatana.
Might happen.
But
Martian Manhunter's huge, though. I've always looked at him as like he is Superman without the human.
Yes.
Like he's got the same he's an alien. He's
He has
superpowered.
the
He's got all the
background.
powers.
He doesn't have Mom and Pa Kent
Doesn't have
raising
Mom
him.
and Pa Kent,
He doesn't
so
have
he's got no
Smallville. He doesn't
nurturing.
have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They could
He's
do
the
something.
true alien.
Right.
Not,
And,
and
he looks the part.
not the
so-
ultimate immigrant, but the ultimate outsider
Yeah.
alien. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's cool. But Justice League of America #2, you'll see that, and that's going to be what's this? Jeff Johns and I forgot his name.
Well, the artist for Manhunter?
No, the guy he's co-writing it with him. Wait,
You talking about Finch?
no, Finch isn't writing the backup.
Oh, you're talking about the backup. Yeah.
Yeah, just the backup.
Okay.
But look for it because Martian Manhunter. God, they should do something big with that.
They
down
are.
the line, they are. They
Yeah.
will. And Marvel X-Termination. They revealed the teaser for that. That's going to be a little mini crossover. When I say mini, it's only going to be maybe 5 books in total.
Right.
Starting with X-Termination Alpha, ending with X-Termination Omega, kind of what they just did with Maximum Carnage.
Right.
And 3 books in between. There's Astonishing X-Men, X-Men Extreme X-Men, I should say,
Right.
and Age of Apocalypse. And it's going to be bringing the Age of Apocalypse Nightcrawler character
Yeah.
kind of back into the 616 timeline.
He's the connecting character between these books.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is, like, a Nightcrawler teleports, and this guy is teleporting through universes. It's cool.
Right. Yeah,
It's a neat
that's cool.
concept. And like, I didn't realize these 3 books that they have in the X-Men that aren't Marvel now. They're just like, what are they doing with them? Am I going to cancel them? Are they going to peter out? What are they going to do? And it's like, no, we're going to double down, have these big end cap things. We're going to throw everyone's favorite character from Uncanny X-Force into
I was
it.
about to say, Uncanny
and
X-Force,
we're
he
gonna-
shines.
We're going to kick some ass with it. And, even Astonishing X-Men has a background in being a world-hopping book, which actually launched
Right.
the Extreme X-Men book.
Right.
And Age of Apocalypse obviously is,
Mm-hmm.
relevant. It's another whole universe, and it's where Nightcrawler's from. So, I think anyone that was like on the fence about dropping these books from their pull are now not.
This is gonna
And
keep them, yeah.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
good.
like,
Who knows what's going to come out of it, but yeah.
whoever made this editorial decision is a good editor.
That was the hook.
No, seriously.
They got you. And that's pretty much it as far as the weekly recap goes. A lot of news, big things coming out of DC. Or
I think we did a
ending
good
at
job
DC.
as 2 white guys talking about sexism in comics.
Not bad.
Yeah.
We still look good. Kinda. Hey. So as always, follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks. Bye bye.